So I can't make this a brief video. I want to run through the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the World Economic Forum. You've probably seen, our Governor General, Mary Simon, or Elizabeth May, leader of the Green Party, Trudeau, Carney, the little pin round thing there, pin with all the pastel colors on it. That's the WEF SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals logo if you go to their website. I'll try to get through this as quick as I can. So, the flowery, pleasant sounding prose, the pastel prose of the World Economic Forum, you don't really have to read between the lines so much as interpret them. The Great Reset Initiative was announced in Davos in 2020 by Klaus Schwab and King Charles. Agenda 2030. To remake capitalism, restructure supply chains, digitize identities, redefine property ownership, centralize global policy decisions, all under the pretext of, here's their flowery prose, resilience and equality, sustainability, inclusion, resilience. All nice words. Let's get into the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. SDG 1, end poverty. Oh, what a noble sounding goal. Read into it. Read what's right in the website. And if I wanted to make an hour-long video and had the tech ability, I'd at this point bring up somebody talking at Davos in a public address, one of the WEF members. UBI, programmable CBDCs, all the tools of societal control. SDG 2, end world hunger. Ooh, another lofty sounding goal. Through public-private partnerships. There's not really anything public about these public-private partnerships, but I sort of digress a little. Anyways, SDG 2, end world hunger. They're always on about agri-foods. Now what they're talking about here with end world hunger is corporate giants like Bayer, Monsanto, GMO seeds, synthetic fertilizers, the Bill Gates lab cultured creations, crickets, climate smart agriculture. Well, read right into SDG 2, you'll see, and they say it themselves, no interpretation here, conventional farming is not sustainable. Remember they tried about a year ago to claim that home gardening left a larger carbon footprint than growing the taters in your own backyard? Like that one didn't fly. The behavioral sciences department kind of fell flat on that one, because even a child can understand I'm going to leave less of a footprint going out to the garden for my taters and getting them from Idaho. Sorry, I'll try and stop interjecting on my own self. The video will be long enough as it is. SDG 3, good health. Here we have perpetual biosecurity. Think the WHO and the Global Pandemic Treaty that they're passing right now. Transnational authority to declare emergencies at their discretion under binding international law. It's not doing much for my mental health. Sustainable Development Goal 4, quality education. This is the implementation of global, digitized, and centralized school curriculum, conditioning children to adopt compliance-based values. SDG 5, gender equalities. Those dudes in dresses that reading books, that, yeah, okay. Re-engineering cultural norms. Forced diversity quotas, compliance with ideological mandates, their ideology. SDG 6 and 7, I'm going to mush those together. Clean water and sanitation, clean energy. Again, their term, private-public control over water, infrastructure, and energy grids. Programmable smart meters, ring a bell in context. Sustainable Development Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Sounds good. This is a global automation agenda. Again, pop up somebody talking about it here at Davos in one of their public addresses. It's planned obsolescence of blue and white collar workers, AI, utilization of AI and AI robotics, the displaced workforce then forced into dependence upon UBI schemes, programmable, conditional, and tied to the carbon footprints and social behaviors. Hey, it's working great in China, right? The model's already there. Sustainable Development Goal 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. It's mass surveillance systems, 5G and 6D, smart city grids, facial recognition, AI behavioral modeling. SDG 10, reduce inequalities. Oh, sounds good. Global taxation, sorry, I should have put this all together. Reduce inequalities, global taxation, and wealth redistribution. Do you really think it's going to be them redistributing their wealth down to us working peasants? Don't think that's what it means. Sovereign populations to transnational bodies. That's where the money's going to go. That then decide what constitutes equality from above them. They take our tax money and decide what inequality is. Yeah, I'm sure they have our best interests at heart. Sustainable Development Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. This is the ideology of the 15-minute cities. Planned and controlled urban zones track your movement, monitor your resource consumption. Geofencing for climate protection. Digital permits, limited access times, and license plate tracking. In here we have to take a look at the Q40 agenda, which ties into some, I forget, an impending SDG anyways. Q40s to get people to move off rural lands and into these sustainable cities and communities. Yeah, okay. Going to blend 12 and 13 together here. Responsible consumption and production and climate action. Again, flowery prose, sounds nice. Responsible consumption and production, climate action. Individual carbon scoring, behavioral nudging, rationing of food. Read into it. It says 2,000 calories a day, and they'll define what your protein source is. What do we got here? Well, in Canada, we've already got the BIT nudge unit and the IIU nudging unit right in the Privy Council. Their behavioral nudging is already in play, has been for quite some time. We're going to blend Sustainable Development Goal 14 and 15 together here. Protect life below water and on land. Sounds good to me. Well, what this is about is initiate land seizures, and resource lockdown policies. Over 30% of the Earth's land and water is now already under conservation agreements. Remember that one Chrystia Freeland announced to protect the caribou out in Alberta last year? Yeah, and this ties into the Q40 stuff too, but anyways, conservation agreements, which can and will displace indigenous treaty rights, right? The indigenous are going to go, no, this is ours and we have a treaty with Canada. Well, no, sorry, the pandemic agreement tramples over under international binding law any sovereign treaties. Sorry, you can't hunt, fish, farm, homestead, even walk on that conservation. What do they call it? Or whatever. Oh yes, this is Sustainable Development Goal 14 and 15, the conservation agreements. This is all in the name of planetary health. Part of their word salad. Planetary health. Sustainable Development Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. This is justification for censorship of dissent. Check this out. The UN has already declared misinformation a public health and security risk. They, the UN, decide what misinformation is. The WHO in 2023 officially classified the infodemic as a top-tier health risk. Infodemic. Oh, the psych department was hard at work making that word up, eh? And don't forget, the UN is part of the WEF, they signed 2 agreements to hasten Agenda 2030 in 2019 and 2021. Anyways, I digress again. Sustainable Development Goal 17, partnership for the goals. Partnership for the goals. What? Well, this merges governments, corporations, foundations, and media into one structure. Their structure. Partnership for goals. Well, you can see what their goals are, right? Yeah, okay. The goal isn't to pass national laws anymore. I mean, the EU's already got the digital IDs coming in. Well, they're being implemented, digital IDs, that is, in over 100 countries right now. Worldwide digital banking, that went down 3 years ago. We moved from electronic banking to digital banking. So, partnership for goals merges governments, corporations, foundations, and media into one vertical structure. What we're talking here is about non-compliance, social exclusion through infrastructure. Their words, social exclusion through infrastructure. The infrastructure being banking, food, housing, transportation. Don't shoot your mouth off in the 15-minute city. The bus isn't going to stop for you, and if you walk to the grocery store, it'll just be crickets for you, buddy. We're talking being digitally fenced, behaviorally controlled. Sovereignty will be extinct. Cash will be gone. Property ownership will go the way of the dodo. Medical treatment will be conditional upon compliance. Don't be chirping off on social media. Look what's going on in the UK. And they're rounding people up for social media tweets already. Anyways, conventional independent farming will be outlawed. They stated that back in Sustainable Development Goal, what was it, 3 or something, whatever it was, that conventional farming simply isn't sustainable. And dissent will be criminalized. That's Agenda 2030. And the agreement that the UN signed with the WEF was to hasten, well, both of those agreements were to hasten Agenda 2030. And now we have Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada.